There's got to be something wrong with me. Seriously, I'm a 22-year-old and I'm still afraid of the dark. I'm not a little kid anymore, but I can't work up the courage to just turn off the lights and go to sleep. Okay, let me explain how I came to this. One minute, I was enjoying myself, writing a paper on Paleolithic cave paintings for my arts history class, and then without a warning, I imagined that there was something spooky waiting for me in the hallway of my apartment, effectively trapping myself in my own bedroom. You see, I did more than just creep myself out, because with me, fear has a tendency to spiral out of control into levels of mind-boggling stupidity. At first, I ignored it, going on with my work in the hopes that the feeling of being stalked would go away on its own. It didn't, and I was starting to worry that some shrieking terror was about to burst through the door, so I had to double check to make sure that it was securely locked. After that, I couldn't concentrate on getting my paper written, as every other minute I'd have to look away from my monitor to see if the door was still closed. "This is getting retarded," I said out loud, to no one in particular. "It's just my imagination messing with me." Which is honestly the truth here. I know that if I were to open that door to look into the hall, nothing would happen. One single action and poof, sanity becomes restored. The problem, of course, is the actual opening part. That's always when the anxiety reaches its highest point. This bullcrap started about 30 minutes ago, just before midnight, and it doesn't look like it's about to let up anytime soon. So yeah, I'm stuck in my bedroom for what seems like the 100th time, alone, with my computer and thoughts of strange boogeymen. Actually, this whole thing got me wondering where these irrational, paranoid delusions first started. That's an interesting story, actually. And it happened long before anyone could call me crazy. There's something in the basement. This story happened in the spring of 1998, in the old house on Erie Street, that my parents were renting. Erie as in Lake Erie. But yeah, weird coincidence, right? I was 6 years old at the time, so I was at a point in my life where sleeping with a nightlight was still considered normal. I think that we had only been living there for a few weeks. It's kind of hard to remember for sure exactly. But I do remember the first time my dad took me and my brother to check out the basement. Now the house itself was well over 100 years old, and in a previous lifetime it served as a train station. The basement, as it turns out, was used as a temporary jail cell, where the town sheriff would keep criminals he caught trying to catch a ride out of Chicago. And in the time between then and when my family moved in, no one thought to update the basement. Basically, it was a dungeon. The walls were made out of carved rocks or something, with certain areas bricked over from where the groundwater had been leaking through. Also, the whole place was coated in layers of spider webs and dead insects. That's not even the creepiest part. In the way back around a narrowed corner was a heavy labelled door. Milker room. Whatever that meant. In any case, my dad couldn't get it open, even with a crowbar. The hinges were so rusted and caked in calcium that nothing short of a jackhammer was going to get through it. During the daylight hours, I didn't worry about the basements or the cryptic milker room. I just avoided going down there. But at night, I couldn't help but thinking about it, and invariably, I ended up hiding under my bed sheets until I could eventually fall asleep. Of course, I wasn't always able to fall asleep. Sometimes, the voices would keep me wide-eyed and alert. And when I say voices, I mean what I thought constituted the sound of a man's muffled speech coming from the cellar. To me, it sounded like someone under the floorboards was mumbling incoherently. The reality here, of course, was the sounds were bouncing around the air vents in such a way to trick my little kid brain into thinking there was something down there, trapped behind that huge, immovable door, trying to get out in order to... I'm not sure exactly. Perhaps I thought he wanted to eat me, I guess. Who knows? I was 6, remember? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I thought this made-up man wanted. All I knew at the time was that it was bad. And it got worse when my older brother, Joshua, kept telling me that he knew what was really in the basement. He was a sadistic asshole, and he thought it was just so damn funny to tell me that a monster with a woman's face and a body covered in tufts of fur was trying to escape from the milker room. Let me repeat that. A woman's face and a body covered in tufts of fur. It was weeks before I could sleep a full night without yelling for my parents to rush to my room. Let's move forward a few years. When I was 9, my parents had decided to move to a better house for commuting reasons. I was helping my dad move some boxes out of the basement, and at this point, the place had been cleaned up a great deal, and being 3 years older, I didn't find the basement all that scary, until I found myself alone down there while my dad ran off to talk to my mum about something. At first, I was fine, but then out of nowhere, I started to hear this weird tapping noise. I remember looking around for what was causing it. More annoyed than frightened, when I looked around the corner towards the milker room. It started getting louder, and it was coming from behind the huge black door. I didn't move for what felt like hours, petrified. All of a sudden, I heard a crashing bang come from where the tapping used to be. I shrieked and started running back towards the stairs, nearly knocking over my dad in process. When he asked me what was wrong, I told him about the noises coming from the milker room. He laughed. I swear he laughed and told me to follow him. Going around the corner, my dad walked towards the milker room door, opened it, flicked on the lights, and showed me the loudest water softener in the world. He told me he had it installed 2 years ago because he was sick of drinking rust-flavoured water, and the milker room was the best place in the house to put it. How to get it open in the first place? Well, a lot of hardware stores sell solvents designed specifically for rust and calcium. I had nothing to be afraid of. Never really did. But to this day, I can remember with perfect clarity that one single moment of pure terror where I was absolutely sure something terrible lurked behind a few inches of wood and shadows. So the point of that story was to remind myself that there was nothing evil waiting for me outside my bedroom. I don't think it worked. I tried to open it about a minute ago to use my bathroom, but the second I placed my hand around the doorknob, my heart started racing like I'd just pounded 6 shots of espresso. Images of writhing mass of rotting flies filled my mind, or a black hound waiting to pounce from the darkness. I'm freaking out a little inside, because not only do I have the feeling that there's something out there, but also the sense that whatever it is, it knows that I'm scared. I keep telling myself that it's all in my head, that I'm just projecting my fears onto the environment. But it's not working. Which is a shame, because I know firsthand how frightening one's own imagination can be. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to pee in the beer bottle I found by my trash can. And second, I'm going to tell another story. One where I had to go toe to toe with my own nocturnal demons.